Today I want to share 7 psychological principles with you that attract the right man. And the very first psychological principle that I want to share with you is the principle of reciprocity. And reciprocity means that people tend to return favors and treat others as they are treated. And this principle, psychologically seen, means that if you give something to somebody or you do something nice for them, they are more likely to not just return the favor, but to like you more. And this can be done in a very simple way when it comes to you meeting and attracting men. And that's that on the first date, you simply give him a little piece of chocolate. And no, I'm not kidding. I really mean this. This is a simple technique that so many of my clients have used, and they've used it successfully. And if you now say to yourself, oh, come on, Sebastian, I can't just give him a little chocolate on the first date. That's so cheesy. That's so weird. Then I invite you to put it into practice, and feel free to shoot me an email at sebastian@gethimkeephim.com, in which you then share your experience with me, because I can guarantee you that the moment you do that, you will not only break the ice and you will lighten up the mood, but you will look into the face of a smiling man, unless he's of course deadly allergic to chocolate, but that's a different story. But most men are not deadly allergic to chocolate, and if you bring him just a little bit of chocolate, it doesn't have to be a whole chocolate box or a whole box of sweets, but just one tiny piece. This can make a big difference. I mean, why do you think they do that in hotels? Why do you think there's a piece of chocolate on your pillow when you enter a hotel? It's because they want you to give better reviews. They want you to like them more. And it's a very small investment, and it can be a great gesture for him to then say, wow, this woman melts my heart, just like you might melt the chocolate. I mean, don't melt the chocolate before you give it to him, but you get what I mean. And the next principle I want to share with you is social proof. And the principle of social proof means that we trust somebody more when other people affirm that a specific person is trustworthy. And this is also a weird psychological reason why, and yes, I can confidently say that because I've read the research about it, why women are more likely to be attracted to a man who's already married than to a single guy. Because the man who's already married has been pre-selected. The social proof is there. He has been, at least by one woman who married him, received the sign of, yup, that's a good guy, he's husband material. And if you don't believe me and you think that's offensive what I just said, you can look up the studies for yourself. There's been multiple studies where the researchers compared how women react, or let's say how women rate a man in terms of attractiveness, when the same man is displayed with a wedding ring or without a wedding ring. And throughout all these studies, the consistent findings are that women are more likely to be attracted to a man who has a wedding ring. That doesn't mean that every woman is a homewrecker, please don't get me wrong. It's just how our biology works. We are more likely to trust somebody if there's social proof. I mean, that's also the reason why I published some of the testimonials from the amazing coaching clients who've already worked with me on my coaching page. I mean, I don't want to deny that I also use the principle of social proof, because then you see that my coaching program works, and then of course you're much more likely to work with me. And by the way, if you want to find out more about my 8-week coaching program, the Love Magnet coaching program, then you can go to gethimkeephim.com/magnet or click on the first link in the description. And in the same way, you can use social proof by inviting him in your social circle. But of course, only do that if you really want a relationship with him. I wouldn't be doing that on the first or second date, but then later on, if you want him to fall in love with you even more, and you want him to get the feeling, hey, I can trust this woman, she's trustworthy, she's reliable, and she is liked by others, her friends like her, and her friends are cool people, then use the power of social proof. And the next principle that I want to share with you has to do with you allowing yourself to use the principle of specific selection. And what this means is that people are more likely to be drawn to other people who are incredibly compatible with them. Not just a little bit compatible, but a lot of compatibility when it comes to those two people, no matter if it's in a dating realm or if it's in a business realm. I mean, I'm much more likely to work with somebody as a business partner if this person has the same values that I have, and the same is true for people in a relationship. So what that means is that in the first step, you want to find out if you are compatible, and if you then find a few points in which you're compatible with him, to then over and over again talk about these topics and talk about these values. Don't simply say, oh yeah, we're so alike, that's great, but then go deeper in it, ask deeper questions, and really focus for the majority of the conversation on these points that you're compatible with. And this will of course give him the feeling, hey, we are so compatible, that's amazing, she's the right woman for me. And the next psychological principle I want to share with you is liking. People are more likely to be influenced by others, or to listen to others, or to like others who they like. And now you might be saying, duh, of course. Yep, and that's why it's so important for you to change your energy before you go on a date. Because if you have this kind of energy of, good, today at work was really terrible and now I'm gonna go on another date, let's see how it goes, then you can't expect him to like you. But if you go on a date with this radiating, life-loving energy, if you truly step into your feminine energy before a date, which is something that you will learn and master in my 8-week Love Magnet coaching program once we then work together, then it will be so easy for you to radiate this life-loving energy that will make him not just attracted to you, but that will make him fall in love with you, which leads me to the next principle, and that's consistency. And this psychological principle means that the more consistent you are in your behavior, the more consistent you are with your words and with your beliefs and values, the more trustworthy you are. I mean, to give you an example, if you would be on a date with a guy, and on date number 1 he tells you, I'm looking for a relationship, and then on date number 2 he tells you, I'm not so sure if I want a relationship, maybe I just want to explore something casual, you would be like, what? Huh? Why are you saying this? This is not consistent at all. And now you might be saying, yeah, but wait, I am consistent. I want a relationship, and I communicate that along the way, on the first date, second date, and third date, and all the time. And yes, that's great. But maybe there are other points where you're a little bit inconsistent. Maybe in your behavior, maybe in the way you make time for him, maybe in the way you text him back. Always remember that consistency speaks directly to our trust center, and the more consistency you show him, the more he will trust you, and the more likely it is that he'll want a relationship with you. Which leads me to the next psychological principle that can work really well in order to bond him to you and in order to attract him to you, and that's to know not to do a favor for him, but to ask him to do a favor for you. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but there is a lot of research that points in the direction that when somebody does a favor for us, this person automatically assumes, subconsciously often, it doesn't happen on a conscious level, but subconsciously assumes that they are closer to us than they actually are. Which means if you ask him to do a favor for you, even if it's just a small favor, even if it's just opening a bottle or opening a jar, or if it's to Google something, to Google an address, any favor can be seen in his subconscious mind as a confirmation to why you're actually already close, even though you might just met each other 2 days ago and now you're on your first date. And the reason is very simple, because usually we do favors for people we are close to. We do favors for our family members, for our friends, and by you putting him in this position where he does a favor for you, you communicate to his subconscious mind, hey, we are already close. I mean, yep, I can go on another date with her because we are close, I like her. She's the perfect girl for me. And this leads me to the last principle I want to share with you, and that's scarcity. Because perceived scarcity can increase demand. And yes, the same is true for your dating life. And if I would, for example, say now, which is not the case. So I just want to work in the most authentic way. So I only say these things if it's actually true. But if I would say right now, today is the last chance for you to work with me in my Love Magnet coaching program or in an individual coaching session, because tomorrow I will close the podcast, which is again not true. I just want to make that clear. I don't want you to send me any panic emails. Why are you closing it? But just as an example, you would most likely feel more compelled to take action and to actually work with me if you knew it was the last chance in your life. Or maybe you would say, thank God, finally no more German accent. But in general, the scarcity principle works really well, which means that if you, for example, want him to go out with you and you want to put a little bit of pressure on him in a good way, you could say, I'm busy all week, but I only have time on Friday evening between this and this time. And then you can see how fast he will be able to respond and how he magically will have time exactly when you are available. So whenever you want to meet a man at a certain time or on a certain day, this is a great principle to use, because this implies there is scarcity of your availability. And if he wants to meet you just a little bit, then he will do everything to accompany your schedule. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. And if you want to become an expert at how men think, how they feel, what they really want in relationships, and how you can attract the right man into your life, then I invite you to go to gethimkeephim.com/magnet or to click on the first link in the description to find out more about my 8-week Love Magnet coaching program. And once you're then on this page, you can have a look at the video testimonials from my previous coaching clients. You can have a look at what awaits you in each of the 8 individual coaching sessions. And then you can send your inquiry email by filling out the form in the exact way as it's described on this page. And I will then get back to you. We will have a free 30-minute discovery call in which I share more information about the coaching program with you, and then you can decide for yourself if you're ready to become a magnet for love.